Welcome back to the Forensics Detailing channel. Do not forget to subscribe. So today we're going to be looking at Trim Evo, talking about the product and applying the product. So what is it, guys? It's a ceramic coating for plastic trim, really, an exterior trim ideally. Why do we coat exterior trim on the car? Well, what's the main thing that goes wrong with trim? It fades over time. It can lose its original manufacturer finish, which might be kind of fresh. It might be matte, satiny, gloss or whatever. But the main thing I think is fading, probably from UV damage and maybe chemicals drying on it over time and just fading off the finish. And my trim on this beautiful BMW is a classic example. It's just, you can just see it's a little bit, gets a little bit discoloured and all that. So every now and then I've been slapping a trim dressing on it, and I used solution finish on it probably over a year ago because that blackens it off nicely. It's like a black pigmented thing. Now, ceramic coatings are supposed to last longer. Why? Because they're a specialty resin, which we know dries to a hard material, which kind of bonds to the surface and forms this more durable layer. That's the main benefit of ceramic coatings. What's the downside of ceramic coatings? Because you don't often get told that. Well, they cost more, you get less chemical. If you're using them at home and you open the bottles up, you know, they last so long, by the time you go to use it again, it may have been open for more than 6 months and it may have spoiled or not performed the same. They are affected by age. So they're a high-tech, more durable protection product that are a bit more involved. You have to be a little bit more careful with your health and safety as well with them. You know, not get them in your skin, not get them in your eyes, and all that sort of stuff. Now, what is the difference with the Trim Evo range? Because Gyeon brought out, like, redid all the coatings, like, and created the Evo range. Like, here's their Moss, which is like shear backwards, or the Moss hardness scale thing. Evo, which is their flagship coating, I think, a really good performing consumer coating that Joe Public can go and buy. It's not in their accredited range. Very good coating. And I think what they do is periodically coating formulations change. They probably take feedback from the people that install their coatings and customers, and they learn about their own coatings. Mainly with ceramic coatings, I'm going to lose my voice. The important thing is that they apply properly without any smudging or smearing. You want them nice and easy to apply. That's more important to me and should be more important to you than durability and all the other things that they claim, you know, beading, gloss, whatever, slickness. Getting them on is the primary thing, okay? What happens next after that is the psychological thing. They've got to be easy to apply. So I imagine the Evo range is probably about making them slicker, maybe easier to apply. Don't know, maybe it's making them more hydrophobic as well. People do like to see their coatings bead because it's one of the ways you can measure performance. It's not the be all and end all. Anyway, let's crack on with this. So on my car, I've pulled off the rear piece of trim, just popped it off because it's easier to demo. The rest of it doesn't come off so easily. I'm not going to pull it off. What I'll do on this is mask up and then coat it. How do we go about applying this? Well, we take our piece of plastic trim. We'll go straight outside. There's a dog barking. Get my shotgun. It's probably my dog. And we'll take an APC and a nice brush first. And hopefully you can see that. We're just going to clean this off. Okay, So we've cleaned that off with all-purpose cleaner. They do say in their instructions to use Gyeon Trim Trim Cleaner, sorry, but I don't have any of that. So you can just use an all-purpose cleaner. And then what I'm going to do is take a clean cloth, just dry this off, guys, just so it's dry, not plastered in water. Can you see that? Yep. Dodgy camera work as always. So now, now we have a clean, dry, let's close this door. Clean, dry piece of trim. I can already see it sort of patching up a little bit more as it starts drying. So I'm hoping to get all of that out. Then we degrease it. So we're going to use a little bit of Gyeon Prep, which is like their panel wipe, which is a nice product, this. Get this on there. And just wipe that over the surface. So what's the easiest way for you to see this? Plop this down over here. There you go. Yeah, that'll do. One day we'll leave this world behind, but our trim will be fully restored. Okay. It's nice doing it off the car because you can do it properly. It's lovely when you do a job, isn't it? And you can do it properly because you're taking your time. When you've got to do a whole car, you never get time to do everything like this and prep things properly. And when you do, you tend to get really good results. When you're rushing, so if I do this all nice and then go down here and quickly bodge all these bits, the results won't be quite as good. So you got to that's the thing you don't often get, is it? Time. Okay, so we've prepped our bit of plastic. Now in our Gyeon Evo trim kit, the bottle came sealed. I've taken it out of its little plastic seal with all their health and safety stuff on. You get a block applicator with 4 of these suede cloths, and they clip in. You need a little credit card to push them in. They clip into the block, which is quite nice actually. And you get a good set of instructions. But to paraphrase those instructions, clean it with APC, rinse it, panel wipe it, make sure the panel wipe is dry. Then glove up and apply, wet out the surface of this. You don't have to use loads, but I don't know, I'll probably wet out a good amount, and I'll go for a good amount, a good glug. And wet out the surface. Trim coatings are a little bit different to paintwork coatings in the sense that the trim, you know, on the paintwork you put a layer down and you buff it, and you kind of, when you buff it, even though you're not buffing hard, you want to buff to a clean finish because you don't want any streaks or high spots or anything. With this, you just want a consistent finish, and the more material you leave on there, the more coating you're going to get. So it's a bit difficult, but you also don't want big puddles and excess product. So you probably want to get a nice wet layer over there, count to about 30 seconds to a minute, and it will have already started, you know, bonding itself to the surface, depending on the humidity. 15 to 25 degrees, I think, is their application range. And then just wipe it off would be the best advice. So let's do that. In fact, you'll want to see all this, won't you? You really want to see it and feel it. Should really go to head cam. So let's give this coating a little shaky. I should be gloving up, but I'm not. I'll take the risk this time just because I've using the camera. Yeah, actually, let's glove up. Let's glove up, because I don't like getting ceramic on my hands and stuff like that. Let's just at least put one glove on. Okay, there we go. So always have a pack of black nitrile gloves in your garage. You know, always. They're cheap. Right, can I open that with one hand? I bet I can't. No, it's got a safety catch on it. Okay. Oh, geez, it's quite hard to open. There we go. You got pushed down on it. Now, don't smell ceramic coatings, but I like to have a little. Oh, it's going to be one of those days today. Now, don't smell ceramic coatings. Yeah, because they can have, yeah, so that has a naphtha smell to it as well, a mushroomy naphtha smell. So they have multiple types of resins in them nowadays, and organic resins as well as the inorganic core ceramic. So they have different solvents in there. The very early ones just used to have, when they were just the solid ceramic, the first generation of solid ceramic, they just used to have an ether, and that was it. And once the ether vapes out, it exposes the ceramic resin, and then once that gets exposed to moisture and air, the state change occurs, as we've talked about before. They're a bit more complicated now. Whenever you get the rainbow flash, that means usually it contains a mineral spirit type oil, you know. That's water from down here, that's not coating. So yeah, a lot of times people say, I haven't got the rainbow flash. Well, you might not always get a rainbow flash. Depends on the solvent that's in there, I think. Okay. Now, solvents, coatings. Been testing coatings a lot the last kind of month. Always a good test of a coating if you really want to, we'll do it here actually. If you really want to get a feel for what's in that coating, if you do this, we'll just put a load in there. Come on, there we go. Ooh, there we go. Just put a load of the coating in here so it saturates out a good square of it. I want to see what happens to that. If that goes all crystalline, rock solid, and that square is then really stiff and you can't move it, you've got a good high solids coating, you know. I'm noticing with modern coatings, there's new resins hitting the market that are good quality, but they're not crystalline so much. So this old school type of test to work out how much solids you've got isn't always reliable. But I always like to do that, have a look, see what's left behind. Now, let's put some of this coating down. We'll go for quite a lot. Come on in, here we go. Let that spread, that's quite a lot of coating, isn't it? And we'll put the lid back on, which will stop that vaping out. You really need 3 hands to do this. You really need 3 hands. Right, there we go. Make sure that's not going to fall off, and make sure that's all dry down here. Yeah. Okay, let's put this coating on. I need another hand. I'm going to do this with one hand. It's going to bounce around a little bit. It's not going to be as ideal. So you can just see the coating wets out the surface. The reason I need 2 hands is I want to get the edge as well. Oh, that's better. Well, I definitely want to use 2 hands, but so do. Quite a lot of coating. Yeah, the coating, I can feel it stiffening up as I'm applying it. Let's just get this, pick this up. So hopefully you can see this. I want to get the coating down this little piece of the trim as well. Get it on all that white faded bits. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I thought that was prepped. Is that a bit of dirt in there? Yeah, a little bit of plastic. Okay, so you can see, I'm not sure if I'd need to buff this, to be honest. That finish is what I'd want to, you know, and if I buff it, I'm going to be removing material for what? If I had a big blodge of it or something like that, then I can buff it. So let's go and put some more coating on. My God, you're going to get sick of this camera work, aren't you? Let's go over here. You're going to get sick of this camera work. Already am, John. Right. At least I've got 2 hands now. Texas Hold'em, what a dodgy song. I'm just going to put it on one bit. It's nice when you get a good amount on there. You remember you're doing like an entire car worth of trim. You've got to get shifty on, haven't you? You can't mess around. I'm messing around here, taking forever. I just want this to be good. So, if I bring you in, the finish we've got here is consistent, it's non-patchy, and it doesn't need buffing. So why go over it? Risk pulling little bits of microfiber on it, risk smearing it. It's just a good finish. So if I leave that, we're done. So at this point, guys, if I was going to buff it, wait 30 seconds after going over it. Some surfaces, if it's a plastic that doesn't have texture in it, might require a little buffing to remove any excess product. Or just a wipe, not a buff, you know what I mean? After about an hour, that coating will be dry enough to be able to pop back onto the car. What I would do here, like I say, is put the tape up, do exactly the same thing, prep it with the APC, prep it with the panel wipe, let it dry, put the coating on over there, leave it for an hour, take the tape off and leave it. Unlike paint, coating, it's kind of not quite as important. You imagine every area of this car was covered in ceramic coating. You want to be really careful when it's curing about it getting outside. It's okay to get wet, but just don't wash it for the first week. And that's it. That's the only rule I'd say with this, is just I'm not going to wash that trim. Apart from that, you're done. John, how does this Trim Evo compare to other ceramic coatings for trim? No idea. I've never done a trim coating test. Don't know if I'm really likely to. I think it's fair to say, in order of people's importance with coatings, paintwork coatings obviously the first. Then I would suggest that people are really interested in wheel coatings. Then after that, probably glass coatings, for windscreens and all that, although they're different. They're not ceramic, or they're way less ceramic if there is any ceramic in there. Then perhaps after that, trim coating. There will be people in the comments say, well, just use anything. Just use anything. Just use the Chinese blue bottle ones you did the video on, that you can get for like 2p. But I don't think there's much ceramic in them. I never do that with coatings. Coatings are becoming a little bit like paste waxes nowadays. Wind the clock back 15 years, and there wasn't that many big players in the coating kind of industry. There was a few, they were quite fresh and they were new then. Now, virtually all brands have got coating offerings, so it's almost becoming like waxes. There's millions of them out there, and what's the best one and all that. And I don't think anyone really knows. They're constantly evolving and new resins are coming. So what might be the best right now might not be the best tomorrow. And here's the really interesting thing with coatings, because like I say, I've been playing around with coatings a fair bit this month. You can get a coating that is really good quality, loaded with resin, solid ceramic, very high in solid ceramic. So it's like, if you put it on that fabric, it's like loaded, it's like solid. You tap your head with it, like a frying pan. But it's an absolute nightmare to install, and it's sticky to buff because of the solid resin in it, and really sticky to buff. And even if you get a good application, it can lower the gloss down. So the application could be a nightmare. Once you've got it applied, you go and test it and look at the hydrophobicity and the beading and the gloss and the slickness. They could be really good, but not viable because of how difficult they are to apply. So yeah, I've been doing some testing with the Wax is Dead guys, and yeah, they were looking at some other coatings, and yeah, we just come to the conclusion that application is critical, especially when you've got an installer network of people using this. That it's important to them to get these coatings on properly, and it's important to the people that are having them. At home, you get a little bit more time to play around with them, so but coating must be easy to use. That's really important. What was the other thing I was going to say? Yeah, I can't remember. Oh yeah, so there's lots of brands with offering coatings now, thousands of brands. Gyeon have been doing this for a long time, and I always feel with their products for me are always really, really desirable. You just look at them on the shelf and they look amazing. If Gyeon, you know, if you take, I've said this before, if you go and check out the microfiber that a brand's offering, if their microfiber's good, then their products are usually good, because you could go and get cheap microfiber and sell that. But if they go and get the best Korean microfiber towels and pack them all properly and stuff, it tells you that they want to sell you the best rather than sell you something that's really going to be best for business. You know, they could sell you stuff that's a lot more affordable, but they don't. If they bring out a wax, you know, they don't just go and get a wax in a tub. They'll put it in, you know, this giant applicator thing, which, you know, I've never seen before. And then they'll make their own bespoke applicator to size that matches that, you know, and it goes over the top. And it's just little touches like that, so that when you see their new products, you think, oh, that's different, and you want to try it. And most of their products, I think, bead really well. Their protection products are really good. I think like Cancoat's a really superb product, Gyeon Evo. Mohs is a really good ceramic coating. Gyeon View it came third in our glass test. I think the Angel Wax one just topped it on durability, that one there, but it's a decent glass coating. The wax is very beady and hydrophobic. That I use more than anything. You can see I'm getting through that. The tyre dressing that works well when the car's still wet. I use the Express more than that one. Wet coat I love. Cure I don't use so much. Ceramic detail is really good. I've used up all the detail spray. So I think they've got really good products, and they go that extra mile with packaging them, making them desirable, trying to do things that are a little bit different. On top of that, they've got a really good established reputation with professional detailers, the accredited line. And Gyeon are very strict with what detailers they let install their products. You know, they want to promote their brand, and they want installers which match how they want their brand to look. And it's all got to be, you know, modern studios, clean, proper equipment, got to have been in the business for a while. You can't just apply to be a Gyeon certified installer and just go ahead. You've got to be trained, vetted, and all that sort of stuff. And that's all part of safeguarding the reputation. The other thing that Gyeon get right is they're growing their own social media channels. That is something that still to this day amazes me, how few brands invest in social media. And when I say invest, this comes from someone that uses a smartphone and a relatively cheap microphone setup to communicate, you know, to hundreds of thousands of people each month as an idiot in his garage. Well, why don't you, as a brand, invest in social media, communicate to hundreds of thousands of people each month, and sell loads of product through it? If I can do it, you can do it. Yeah, it just baffles me. But Gyeon are doing it, and they've got really good, strong social media. But I think a lot of their competition, they may have marketing budgets, their competition, but I don't see them active on social media. You've got to do that. Yeah, that really baffles me. So many years ago, when I was starting my channel and I was looking at all these kind of brands and trying to pick and decide which ones were hot and which ones were not, my instincts and knowledge of the detailing scene wasn't as strong, and I could have made lots of mistakes and backed brands that I probably wouldn't back now. You know what I mean? Like, and I actually said that in the Gyeon video. It's like backing racehorses, and Gyeon, for me, were a thoroughbred racehorse. You could see it back then. You could see the potential. You just knew they were going to be big, and they've gone from strength to strength. And I think they're a global player in the detailing industry, especially with ceramic coatings, but also more so now with consumer-based products, which is really important. And having popular consumer products as well as a good accredited coating thing is important to get that balance, get the sales and all that sort of stuff. Have good professional grade products, have the full range, polishers, abrasives, coatings, everything. So I think Gyeon have got all of the bases covered, and they're just going to continue to go from strength to strength for me. And this Evo range is just a little tweak on an already good set of coatings. I mean, what problems are you going to have? This has really gone off now. I could put that back on the car. Look at it. It's all nice. It's got a nice rich finish to it, but it's not slimy. And hopefully That's going to last a lot longer than an older generation of product. So there we go, pretty happy. I've just got to turn the video off and do the rest of the car. So, as always, take care. Good to see you. The Gyeon Evo product will be available in a link in the description. I'm not sure if this Evo stuff has made its way out to all the distributors yet. Some of it seems to have. Anyway, I'll find a link for it. I'll stick it in the description. See if you can use the code discount forensic to get 10% off. Yes, I'm getting old. Adios, Doug.